the biggest mistake I see is people undervaluing what they've created. Like everything you've done and everything you've built has value, and don't undervalue that. Somebody is willing to pay for it.
Hi everyone, this is Mark Nicholas with the Think Wealth Differently community. I'm here with Tim Bourquin. Tim is an entrepreneur, a friend. He was also the founder of the Trading Expo. He's a very successful and bright person I wanted to bring here for an interview with us. Tim, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I am the co-founder of a company called After Offers now, which is a company that helps sites build their email newsletters and monetize their signups. And I have owned a couple other businesses in the past that I've started and launched and sold, and this is my thing now. So I've had some experience with some big companies and some small companies too.
Awesome. So let's get going. We'll ask you a couple of questions and flow with this. So number one, Tim, what is your definition of wealth?
For me, it's always just been the freedom to just do whatever I want and not work for the man. So I've had the 9-to-5 jobs before I started my businesses. I was a police officer, and so I was working in the middle of the night sometimes. I was working on Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, that sort of thing. And I kind of came to the realization one day when I was actually dropping off my wife and my 6-month-old baby to go to work on Christmas Eve, that like, okay, that's enough of that. For me, it's just being able to do whatever I want, whenever I want, and not have to worry about, being on somebody else's schedule and being told what to do. Like, I'm ruined to ever be an employee again now. Now that I've had.
You're unemployable now.
I am unemployable. Once you get a taste of that, it's really hard to go back. And so there's ways to be entrepreneurial within a job too. But for me, it's just having enough, being comfortable enough and making enough money just to decide how I spend my time.
Awesome. Hey, let me ask you, is there any particular thing or a couple of things that you do in the morning or during the day that sets you for success for the day?
So, I'm one of those people that tends to get bored really easily. And so I always need time every day to just pursue other things outside of my business, right? I'm very passionate about After Offers and owning my own business, but everything I've ever owned, I've always had other things I want to look at too. So the balance for me has been not having that shiny object syndrome and chasing the latest thing, but really laser focus on one thing in your business. And the way I do that is allow myself about an hour a day just to read whatever I want, do something totally unrelated in business, read the blogs and stuff, but limit that.
Is that the reading? Is that the first thing you do in the morning? Like you wake up, like how is Tim's Bourquin's routine in the morning?
So I am useless without coffee. So my first thing is coffee in the morning, and it has to be pre-made. I have to set the timer at night, or I get up and I'm just furious that I don't have coffee immediately. So that's my first thing. And the second thing is, I'm big on email, so I sit down and I try to get through all of the emails that came in overnight and kind of clear out my inbox. And
so you do that right away. You don't do the reading first.
No,
you do. Okay, cool.
Like I when I'm doing my workouts or whatever, a lot of people do that first thing in the morning. I'm not really a morning person, so I get up, have my coffee, and sit down at the computer and clear out my inbox. I do all my treadmill and working out in the evening, which a lot of people don't do. They can't do it, but for me, it's like the last thing I do before I go to bed, which I know is weird, but that's just what I do. So,
you do your email and then you go to what? What's the next step?
I don't have a routine. That's the whole point of this. I don't do the same thing every day. I do whatever the hell comes.
Right.
I want to do.
Right.
So, I'm in front of the laptop all day. I mean, I'm in front of the computer. So I'm either making calls or talking to our existing publishers, or trying to get new publishers or new advertisers. I'm the sales part, the sales and marketing part. So my brother and co-founder Emil is the technology side. Mm-hmm. So. I don't have a big routine. I think that's part of it. I had the routine before in the 9-to-5 job, and I don't like it. So that's why I go
cool.
away.
That's interesting. Now I know that you just mentioned you work with your brother. how is that working? Like the dynamics working with family and stuff. Like I know I personally have asked my brother to work with me, and he said like, look, I love you too much.
Yeah, it's my brother Emil and I have always gotten along great. We work from home, so we don't work in the same office we used to, which was great too. But I think it's just making sure that you have open lines of communication. I see a lot of family businesses go down the tubes because they don't communicate well, and I think that's important. And so just being able to communicate and getting along with your family, so that that's the most important thing, right? If I thought that they would damage the brother relationship, we would figure out a way to go into a different business. But so far it's been great, and I really enjoy it.
Awesome. Let me ask you. You mentioned at the beginning you bought and sold some businesses. I think I mean, it's well known you used to own the Trading Expo. You were the creator of the Trading Expo, right? Mm-hmm. Any tidbit of advice for people out there that are small businesses that want to look at selling or positioning or valuing the business? I mean, all of this is like a foreign concept for a lot of people.
Yeah. So I think the thing for most people, they're at the point where either they are deciding they want to do something else, and I think the biggest mistake I see is people undervaluing what they've created. Like everything you've done and everything you've built has value, and don't undervalue that. Somebody is willing to pay for it. I've sold podcasting websites for $17,000 that somebody could have looked at and said that's not worth $5, but it is worthwhile to somebody. You've just got to be patient and find the right buyer, someone who can add value to what you've started and do their own thing. I think being impatient is tough, because that means you may have to make a sale for a lot less than it may be worth, because you're trying to get rid of it quickly. I've done that too. I've sold too early. I've sold too late. And the timing is never perfect. It's never perfect, because at the very top, when you're just crushing it, that's probably the best time to sell. But that's the point. You're like, why would I sell now? We're crushing it. But actually, that's probably the right time to sell. So it's just trying to find the best time for you.
What about the seller? I mean, the buyer. Sorry. How do you find a buyer? I know some people use a broker. Some people. What's your take on that? Like, are you in the industry? You contact people? I mean,
I've always found my buyers just by calling my competitor and saying, "I'm done. Do you want this? What do you think?" And that's always worked for me. So I've never used a broker. Obviously, I've gotten attorneys involved just to make sure the paperwork is done right and everybody's protected. But I've never used a broker. I know that's a perfectly legit way to do it if you don't know or have contacts with your competitors. But I think for a lot of people in this industry, they know who their competitors are. I do, and still in this industry, and who competes with us now. So
that's awesome. That's a great advice. I mean, contact your competitors and start talking.
Yeah. Chances are they'll be interested.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously, that's a great advice. What about, like, let's say there's people watching us and there's small entrepreneurs just like us, or let's say someone is making $40,000 a year right now, and they want to 10x their life, right, and go to 400,000, 450. If I was your son and I'm asking you, Tim, how do I get from 40 to 400,000? What is the safest way and the best way to do it, and the realistic way for someone to do that?
So I think most people think of, if I'm going to 10x, I have to come up with a new product or add new services to my thing. And that may be partly true, but I think more of the time, what you need to do is just find more people to do the thing that you're already doing. So like for us, we decided early on to just laser focus on getting people new email subscribers. That's what After Offers is. And we could go into trying to do dedicated emails or trying to do other things that are sort of related but aren't our core. So I think you just really have to figure out how to do the same thing over and over and over again, and then just get more people to do it. So for us, we used After Offers in the trading and investing industry, but we knew this same model could work in any different vertical, any topic, whether it were bloggers who were into internet marketing,
or travel industry,
health or travel or whatever it may be. So take what you're already doing and see if there's a way you can drop the exact same thing into another industry or vertical, so that you're not creating a new product and trying to have a launch something new.
Okay, that's interesting. What about a kid or someone who is stuck in a 9-to-5 job? He's making X. He doesn't see more of a perspective than making an increase of 2%, 5% a year. What would you recommend to people who really have a strong desire to succeed in life, but are stuck in a job and a certain level?
Well, certainly, that's not uncommon, and so I wouldn't say if somebody tells you to quit the job and just go live without a safety net, absolutely not, man. Start something on the side, and you may have to start 3 or 4 things. I've had a lot of websites bomb that never got up and running, and I just quit it and started doing something else, and eventually you'll find something that works. So everybody's got time before work or after work, and just use that time these days with the internet and all the tools and resources that are available to us. Start it on the side, make sure it's successful, and then decide if you really want a full-time job, because it's a scary decision to make, but it was one that was right for me, but it's not right for everybody.
Right, and you did transition in a healthy way, and you still have a passion like for the law enforcement. You still do that for no money, I think, or very little money, correct?
Basically $1 a year. I'm a reserve police officer, so I still do that because I loved being a cop, and I still do.
Right.
So twice.
But
a
you
month.
don't have to. You do it because you want to. That's the big difference.
That's right. Yeah, it's a lot more fun when you don't have to do it every day.
Right.
So I enjoy it because it's a kind of a relaxing break from being a business owner, and so that's what I do. It's my volunteer work.
Right. Being an entrepreneur, Tim, what have you learned? What is the person you think you are now compared to Tim Bourquin 20 years ago?
I think just for me, I think everybody gets to this point where they're researching a business and they consider the research the work. The reading the blog posts, reading magazines, trying to figure out what email list service to use. That's not the work. You're not doing any work.
Right.
The idea is to pick something and go. Don't sit for 2 months to try and decide between Aweber and Infusionsoft. Pick one and do it. Either any of your choices are going to be fine. There's no perfect choice. So just take action and make it happen. I see so many people just stuck in this perpetual research, like what am I going to start?
Perfection. People want perfection to start, and it never starts.
They think that reading the blogs and listening to the podcast is the work. That is not the work. You are not doing the work until you've picked something and started.
Right. Tiens, that brings us to a good point. What about working smart versus working hard? What's your take on that?
Well, I mean, what do you mean? What do you mean by working?
Well, are you more of a work smart than work hard? Are you more of a just work smart and minimum hours? Are you more of a work hard and
I'm all about making as much money
and
as
hustle
possible
all day long
without working as much as possible. So it's all about trying to use your time efficiently. And look, I work a lot of hours. You will when you're in business. But working 12 hours for yourself is like working 2 hours for somebody else. So I think it's just about.
So repeat that because that's profound. Working 2 hours for yourself.
No. Working 12 hours for yourself is better than working 2 hours for somebody else.
Right.
It goes a lot faster and you feel a lot better.
Right. And it's fun. It's because it's fun. You do what you do what you're passionate about.
Here's the other thing too, though. Everybody always says, "Oh, find the thing that you're passionate about, and it'll never feel like work." That's complete crap.
Okay.
Even if you love what you're doing and if you're passionate about it, there are going to be days that you're going to get up and you're like, "I don't want to do this today."
Right.
And that's okay. I don't know why there's this idea out here that, oh, if you love your business, you're going to love every single minute of it. That's crap. It really is.
Right.
There'll be times when you're
there's challenges in every
tired
business.
of it, you don't feel like doing it, and you still have to press on, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that you're not in the right business. Every business is going to be like that.
All right. Any tidbit for people to scale their business from? Again, it's the 10x concept that you talked about, but scaling a list, because you're in the list business, obviously. How do you recommend people to scale their list?
With bias, I can say you could use a service like After Office to grow your list, but I think initially just use a service like sumo.com that does a pop-up and try and get people to your site, and be aggressive about collecting your email address too. I think it's important that people, some people shy away from those pop-ups and things, but the bottom line is they work, and so focus on your email list. Social media is great, but if you can't send an email out to those people whenever you want, that's a problem. So make sure you grow that email list. It's really important. And start your email list from day one. Don't wait until, I'll wait until I get some traffic to add my email list. No, do it from the first day. Even if you're getting 1 subscriber a week, that's fine. Okay,
awesome. So last question. I know that you have a daughter in college right now. Tim Bourquin, the father, Tim Bourquin, the family man, now versus when you were just working a 9-to-5 job, and what entrepreneurship has been able to allow you with the family part?
No, I work from home, so that's great. So I spend more time with my family rather than dropping them off and going to work on Christmas Eve. So that part's been really good for me. At the same time, there are times when I've been in the office for 12 hours and haven't come out too. So It's always a balance, but the point is, it's because I want to do that, and it's because I want to, build something of wealth that I can pass down to my family too. So that's important for me too.
How do you balance everything? You talked about balance.
Scheduling, I schedule my time.
Okay.
I schedule almost every hour of the day. If it's not on my calendar, it doesn't happen. So you got to schedule your time right.
What do you schedule the night before, the week before? How do you organize yourself?
I usually do it like once a week. I'll schedule the week.
The week, the entire week.
Yeah, and it doesn't always go to plan. Look,
Right.
I'm not always going to be able to spend the time I want, or things come up and you got to put a fire out or whatever. So just be okay with that.
Awesome. Like an interview with Mark Nicholas. That was not scheduled.
There you go.
Very generous of you, Tim. Tim is a great guy that I know for many years. Highly recommend you check the stuff that he does. If you need to build your list, you take care, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.